Okay, good day. Welcome to the discussion of our chapter 2 in organization management. So now we will discuss the history of management. Okay, before the discussion, I have here a video about the short history of management. Okay, so the video talks about the approaches. No, so according to the videos, there are three main approaches for management. Okay, so we have the scientific. So when we say scientific, no, according to the video, this is a combination of materials plus is equals to products. No, also in scientific management, okay, so this emphasizes the productivity to work and the application of techniques, no, by the employee. Okay, so as the management benefits, the employers also benefit. The employees, no? So there is a win-win situation, no, in scientific management. So for the bureaucratic management or bureaucracy, so this centers on the bureaucracy. So this was initiated by German sociologist Max Weber. So in this approach of management, so there are different layers of reporting levels, no? So with the specific roles for the management functions or for the job description, no? So there is a division of work between who will going to manage, who will do the job side for an employee. So in this, the center or the focus is the layers of reporting levels and specification of jobs. So here naman sa another approach by Henry Fayol, so he suggested or initiated the administrative management. So we're in, this is in Max Weber, he told that an administration is about working together, the company, the organization, and the employees as a whole. Okay, so he considers workers and organization as a whole entity, and in this type of the performance of managers or managerial management functions is very important. No? So those are the three approaches of management. So as the industrial revolution began. Okay. So here is the different management ideas and practices throughout the history. So see So there is planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. And there is a time frame, no, for each individual group and their contribution. Okay? So there are times, no, during their time, no, ang dami nilang ginagawa. They perform planning, organizing, controlling. So some just perform controlling, okay? Some perform all, okay? And just perform organizing, leading, and controlling. So these are the contributions for uh, practices or management ideas and practices throughout the history during this time. Okay, so here's another example. As you can see, these are the activities that they do. Okay, and these are the contributions. Okay, so why do we need managers today? So in connection to the video, no, so the video said that the management began during the Industrial Revolution. Okay? So during the revolution, the availability of power enabled low-paid and skilled labor to replace by high-paid skilled artisans. So during this time, the more that you are skilled on the activity, the job that is assigned to you, the higher the pay. Okay? So job carried out in large formal organizations rather than fields, homes, or small shops. Okay? So there is an extension organization, no? So there is a formal organization na, so there is a large organization. So the organization or the work is not limited only from homes, from fields, and other shops. Okay. So here is another YouTube video about the history of management, no, in which the industrial revolution began. Okay. Okay, so as we watch the video, so again, the introduction for management was done after or during the Industrial Revolution. So this video also emphasized on the functions of management, uh, of scientific management by Frederick Taylor, no, in which there are specific work roles and also the introduction of time and motion studies and the reduction of employee laziness during this uh, time. So during this approach, no, nababawasan daw yung laziness ng mga employee. And then this was adopted by Henry Ford. So he introduced product line. And then for the administrative management by Henry Fayol, he introduced the 14 universal principles. Okay, so including the unity of command and division of labor. And then for the bureaucracy by Max Weber, so there the principle of rational authority and accountability, and then hierarchy of authority, workers' right movement, decision that should be kept in writing, and then according to Mary Foley, productivity is improved by considering individuals. No? So she focused on that. And then for her also, happy workers increase efficiency. So let's go to scientific management. So as we watch the video, we learn a small background or short background about science. So when we say scientific management, this is a thoroughly study and testing of different work methods. So this identifies the best, most efficient way to complete a job. So the father of scientific management is Frederick W. Taylor. He developed four principles of scientific management. So the first one is the introduction of the time study. So when we say time study, this is time taken by good workers to complete each part of their job. Okay, so also in scientific management, so for the time study, so according to Frederick Winslow Taylor, so there are standard or development of standard times during this uh, approach to management. No? So there is timekeeping. So they have this decimal stopwatch, no? Or computer-assisted electronic stopwatch with videotape and camera. And there is repetitive work cycle of short to long duration. Okay? So according to Taylor, there are four principles of scientific management. So the first one is the development of science for each element of a man's work, which replaced the old rule of thumb method. No? So there is a standard. So unlike nung una na there is no rule, no? What happens today is the thing that you will follow for today. So for the scientific management, there is a standard on how you do the task each day. Okay? And then next is like scientifically select and then train, teach, and develop the workman, whereas in the past, he chose his own work and trained himself as best as he could. So in connection to the first one, no, sa first principle, so dito sa second principle, the work his own way on how to train himself. No? There is no standard. So number three is, or the third one is heartily cooperate with the men so as to ensure all the work being done is in accordance with the principles of the science that has been developed. So in this naman, there is a developed na system. No? There is a principle of science na developed. And then for the fourth one, there is an almost equal of the work and the responsibility between the management and the workmen. The management takes over all the work for which they are better fitted than the workmen, while in the past, almost all of the work and the greater part of the responsibility were thrown upon the men. Okay, so here, there is a connection or coordination between the management and workmen. So unlike before, no, unlike for the first and second, so the most part of the job was done or were done by the workmen. Okay? So here again, the four principles of scientific management. According to these two, Frank Lillian and Gilbreth, no, so employed motion study to simplify work and improve productivity. So when we say motion study, this is breaking each task or job into its separate motions and then eliminating those that are unnecessary or repetitive. So typically yielded production of 25 to 300%. So because of the motion study, sabi ng partners na ito, so uh, because of the elimination of unnecessary or repetitive tasks, there is an increase of 25 to 300% production of work. Okay. Then additionally, the impact of motion study regarding disabled workers and Lillian impact on workplace safety and ergonomics and child labor. So when we say ergonomics, so this is from the Latin word. No? So this is from the Latin word. Okay. Ergonomics is from the Latin word ergon, which means work, and then nomics, which means law. So law of work. Okay. Discipline of ergonomics involves studying of how employees relate physically and psychologically with their working environment. So there is a working environment in this approach, no? So according to the partner, si Lillian, okay, and then si Frank, no? So there is an involvement between the environment and the workers, no? Kasi nga meron ng limit. So we start sa motion study and then we start from the time study and then sa motion study, sa time study, uh, by Friday, ito naman nagpo-focus to dun sa specific time, no? Meron lang siyang allotted time, no? Timekeeping. And dito naman sa motion study, meron a breaking out of tasks. So, merong specific task. So, meron din mga scenarios wherein there are adjustments, no? So, there are careful time of management and there are adjustments, no, from unavoidable happenings. So, for example, merong machine delay or merong personal reason si employee why he is not able to come to work. Okay? So, there is a connection the psychological and the physical environment. So, yun yung sinasabi natin na law of work or yung ergonomics na tinatawag. Okay? Okay. According to Henry Gantt is the developer of Gantt chart. No? So, yung Gantt chart indicates what task must be completed at which time in order to complete a project. Okay? So, meron kayong chart. Okay? Naka-indicate doon kung anong time frame mo dapat matapos yung isang project. Okay? So, ang tawag doon is Gantt chart developed by Henry Gantt. Okay. So, let's go now to the bureaucratic management by Max Weber. Okay. So, wherein bureaucracy exercise of control on the basis of knowledge, expertise, or experience, favoritism, or birthright. So the characteristics are the qualification based on hiring, merit-based promotion, the chain of command, division of labor, impartial application of rules and procedures, records in writing, managers separate from the owners, and then improve organizational functioning, as it has fairness replaced by favoritism, goal of efficiency replaced personal gain, and logical or goal of efficiency replace goal of personal gain, and then logical rules replace arbitrary decision making. So here in bureaucratic management, so there is a specification of roles. Okay. There are layers of reporting levels, no? So according nga dun sa video, and then there are qualifications, no? Hindi ka lang basta mag-a-appoint ng someone to do the job without looking on his qualifications, no? And then nare-replace nito yung favoritism. So kasi unlike kapag magpi-pinpoint ka or lalagay ka lang ng isang tao sa posisyon, okay, without having him connected to the position that he will going into, no? So favoritism na yun. So in bureaucratic management, yung principle of fairness, he or he is qualified to this job because he is a graduate of course. So in line siya for example, he is a graduate of hospitality management. So he is entitled to work as a manager in a restaurant or a hotel, no? Unlike kapag hindi natin pinapractice yung bureaucracy or bureaucratic management, you can just put someone na hindi naman experience dun sa job na yun or wala naman siyang brief background dun sa trabaho niya. So magkakaroon din ng problem kapag ganoon. Efficiency of goal is to be efficient, not to have a personal gain. And then the rules are logical, no? Logical rules are being replaced by arbitrary decision making or systemized decision making. Okay, so that's bureaucratic management. Here are the elements of bureaucratic organization. So qualification-based hiring, employees are hired on the basis of their technical training or educational background. So there is a merit-based promotion wherein promotion is based on experience or achievement. Managers, not organizational owners, decide who is promoted. And then, kasi pag sometimes, no, if the organizational owners were tasked to decide on the promotion, if they have this a relative or close friends, even it's not related or aligned with the job description or the job to be imposed or to give to those people or person who are going to be promoted, no? Magkakaroon din ng bias. So, ang nagde-decide dito ay managers, no? Wherein ang decision will be based on the experience of achievement. And then the chain of command, each job occurs within a hierarchy, a chain of command in which position reports accountable to a higher position. A grievance procedure and a right to appeal protect people in lower positions. So, there is a specification of job. There is a hierarchy, the chain of command. No? So once the manager task is described as the following, no, the supervisor should not do it because meron ng chain of command, merong hierarchy. So hindi mo pwedeng gawin yung trabaho ng manager, no, kung ikaw ay supervisor, and then you are not entitled to do the job of supervisor if you are a team leader. No? So yun yung chain of command. So you are going to perform specific tasks based on your position. And then division of labor. So this is also connected to the chain of command. So task responsibilities and authority are clearly divided and defined. Okay. And then impartial application rules and procedures apply to all members of the organization and will be applied in an impartial manner regardless of one's status. Okay? So, dito naman, lahat ng rules and regulations, rules and procedures ay dapat i-apply to all the members, no? Hindi lang dun sa nakakataas or hindi dahil sa nakakataas siya ay hindi nakasali dun sa rules. So the rules are implemented equally to all the members regardless of one's position or status. Then recorded in writing, so all the administrative divisions, decisions, acts, rules, and procedures will be recorded in writing. Kasi even though nowadays we have computers, now we have technology, it's important for us to have a printout or hard copy or a writing of every meeting or every decision or contract or anything. Kasi this is to have proof, no, dun sa mga activities na kinonduct natin. For example, much importantly dun sa mga contract, no, and decision making. And then managers separate from the owners. So the owners of an organization should not manage or supervise the organization. So I think the reason why is why managers or why organization owners should have his manager is for the manager to focus on the task of managing. Kasi kapag owner ka, focus on how your business will become profitable. So there is a large responsibility for you. Unlike kapag so they are focused on the job, no? Focus on managing the organization, focus on the implementation of the standards, no? So that's why it's very important to have a separate manager aside from the owners. Okay. Here are the following principles of management by Henry Fayol. So we have the division of work, the authority and responsibility, the discipline, of command, the unity of direction, subordination of interest, even individual interest to the general interest, the remuneration. So what do we mean by remuneration? Okay, so when we say employee remuneration, this refers to the reward or compensation given to the employees for their work performances. So this provides basic attraction to an employee to perform job efficiently and effectively. So napakahalaga yung there are rewards and compensation, no, that are going to give to be given to our employees in a response or in a commendation or in uh, as a gift, no, or as a reward system performance. Okay. And then we have the centralization, the scholar chain, the order, the equity, no? Ibig sabihin equal. And then stability of tenure of personnel. Ibig sabihin kung gaano siya magiging mag-stay sa company, kung siya ba ay ma-regular, no? Kung siya ba ay probationary, initiative, and spirit de corps. So let's focus on the scholar chain. So pag sinabi nating scholar chain, okay, when we see scholar chain, no, so this is connected to the Gangplank method. So let's first have the scholar chain. Okay, before the Gangplank. Okay, wait lang po. Okay, so when we see scholar chain, so scholar chain, okay, so this is a formal line. Okay, a formal line of authority. Okay, so starting from the highest, from the highest rank, to rank. Okay, so since we have bureaucratic management, no, so or there is a system na, so there is a highest rank and then the lowest rank. So this in scholar chain, there is a formal line of authority. So this is connected with the gangplank method. So what is a gangplank, okay, method? Okay, so when we say gangplank, this is a temporary arrangement between two different points, okay, to facilitate quick and easy communication as explained below. Okay, so here in the gangplank, no, in the figure given, if F has to communicate with P, so F has to communicate with P. So he will first send communications upward with the help of E, B, C, B to A. So he will send first his communication or his message upward, no? So E, D, C, B, and A, and then downwards with the help of L, M, N, O, okay, L, M, N, O to G. Okay, will take quite some time, and by the time it may not be worth, therefore a gangplank has been developed between the two. So since the F needs to communicate with P, no, in the scholar chain, kasi diba, like we've said kanina, so there is a rank, no, from highest to lowest, no. So if uh, F will going to talk with P, and then dadaan pa siya dito kay E, B, C, B, A, L, M, N, O, P. So this consume, or O, and this consume much of his time. So in gangplank, so this is a temporary arrangement, no, temporary F can bridge to P in order to have easy communication and quick communication, especially when the information be communicated with C is very important. Okay, so that's gangplank method. Okay, so when we say spirit de corps, this means the entire employee is helping each other. No, entire employees are helping each other in order to have a smooth and harmonious relationship. Okay, so some of the companies and organizations, they have their retreats, no, or vacation outside the town, no? They have this activity or team building activity in order to improve the relationship between each and every employee. So that's the spirit report, no? So these are the principles of management by. Okay, so for the human relations management, so according to Mary Parker Foley, she developed the approach of integrative conflict resolution. So wherein this approach to deal with which both parties indicate their preferences to find an alternative that meets the needs of both parties. So for Mary Parker Foley, no, she was focusing the function or the approach for management in consideration with employees treat each other, no, how employees feel about his or her work, and then for her, the more the happy the employees, the more the happy the workers are, the more efficient they will be when they have or they perform their task. So next one is Elton Mayo played a significant role in Hawthorne studies, help in the understand the effect of group interactions, employee satisfaction, and group dynamics on individual and group performance. So this is very important or significant contribution by Elton Mayo. No? So for him, the understanding of the effect of group interaction somewhat affect the performance of group or individual. So how your employees perform affects you and affects your performance. No? Okay, so according to Elton Mayo, no, on his Hawthorne studies, human factors related to work will be more important than physical conditions or design of work. So this is very important, no? Like in management of hotels and restaurants, no, and other hospitality industry facilities, on how you are going to deal with your coworkers, your employees, your staff, no, as a manager, on how the atmosphere goes on with your working environment is very, very important, because the more the stiff the environment in your working area, the more it is hard and to deliver the best performance for from each and every one of you, even you as a manager and your staff. No, so it's very important to have the consideration of human factors. Okay, so workers, not just extensions of machines, and financial incentives weren't necessarily the most important for motivating workers. So it's not only the things, no, yung tangible things that are very important in motivating, but as well as our personal relationship with them, on how are we going to motivate them, on how are we going to uh, commend them when they do right job or very good job or very good performance. No, that's very important, not just only the machines and other financial incentives. And then managers better understood effects of group social interactions, employee satisfaction, and attitudes on individual and group performance. So there is effect, no, when you have a harmonious relationship between each other. So social interactions, no, employee satisfaction on is he satisfied on the work that he do, okay? Or is he satisfied on the compensation he received out of the work that he do? How about the attitude? No? How is his attitude towards work? No? So this improves individual and group performance. Kasi kapag maganda yung performance ng isa, so the others will be inspired and they will also work, no, hard and be motivated by the work of the other, na the efficient and of high or excellent performance. So that that will result into a satisfying or excellent, not just an individual performance, but a group performance.